So recently, the CMP, Civilian Marksmanship Program, or what used to be called the DMC, or DCM, Director of Civilian Marksmanship, has announced that they will be offering M14 rifles and also pump shotguns. And some of them are quite older ones, I guess. I'm not quite sure. So all these channels are coming out with it, but the big question is, and this is for the M14s, okay, what is the price? What's the price going to be? So, for all of you out there that have a limited attention span or get worked up because I talk too much other than about the specific thing that your little rat-like brain wants to know, scrolling through some forums, somebody contacted somebody from there or something and asked them, what do you think the prices will be? Okay, and it come up to where they said it's going to be under 2K. Okay, because I really can't say prices on YouTube. So under 2K. So what did I do? I looked up what M1A1 sold by Springfield Armory. And they run just about under 2K to go buy a brand new gun. And I found some that were 1.830 at one place, and you can get national match grade guns for 1.9 something, 950 or something. And you can get a basic standard grade or tactical grade I seen at one place for 1.665. Okay, so that is what a brand new Springfield Armory costs, and I guess that is what they're targeting to take the M14s and sell them to the public. So that price range there. So they're not going to compete with the civilian program. Now, when I was in the service on a destroyer, we had M14s. That was the rifle we used, okay, on there. We had M14s. We still had M60 machine guns and 40 millimeter grenade launchers, M69s, okay, or M49s, whatever they were, the break action ones. That was it. That was our M1911s and 12 gauge pump shotguns. That was the extent of our weapons cache, okay. Now, buying one from Springfield Armory has always been pricey. Even all those years ago, they were about 1K for just the standard Springfield Armory. All those years ago when I had this built. Now, what this is I believe it's an Arms Corps National Match. U.S. Rifle 7.R. That says U.S. Rifle. Yeah, I believe what this was. Yep, Arms Corps of America, and this is a national match receiver. A Chinese clone kit was built on this Arms Corps National Match receiver, and I forget what I paid for that. I think it was under 5 C notes, okay, but the Chinese kit was crude, the stock was bad, all of it was chintzy. And what I ended up finding out was that the bolt and the op handle and all this other crap was all made out of soft steel. That was compressed. It wasn't a quality thing. It was junk. But I had an Arms Corps National Match receiver. I sent the gun off to Fulton Armory and had a medium weight match barrel put on there and had the gun rebuilt. New bolt, op rod and handle there. And I believe, I don't know if this is still the Chinese damn trigger or not. The stock looked like something made from a piece of pallet. So I got a surplus M14 stock and I believe a new upper handguard. And I've loved this gun. This gun shoots great, and this gun is, and I ended up paying about what it would cost me when I was all said and done for what buying a Springfield Armory M1A1 would cost. So there's a moral to the story. Sometimes trying to weasel out of paying the full shot for something nice, it's gonna bite you in the ass. So my advice is buy one. Now, getting into what I think we will receive. How it worked in the Navy is I was on a commissioning crew of my destroyer, and we got a loadout. Everything was new. So the guns, everything, and it's kind of like in the Navy, it's weird. Whatever we were loaded out, unless it changed or something, or some policy changed, which it did in the 30 years that ship was on the water. But in 1984, we had M14 rifles. And I never was issued one that was a deck department or something, but I was up in the hangar bay, and they had the bosun mates out there. I don't know what they were doing, but they had about 5 or 6 of the rifles up against the wall, and I went and asked the Master Chief. He knew I was a gun collector. I said, "Can I look at the rifles while we got them out?" He goes, "Yeah." So I went and looked, and there was Harrington and Richardson. I think a couple, there was the majority of them. There was a Springfield. Some of them had wooden stocks like this, and some of them had the Vietnam era fiberglass stocks that you found on even Springfields and the M14s. Okay, so it was an odd bunch of variations, and they were all like brand new. That's one thing I realized. I picked them guns up. They were all brand new. So I don't know if they were re-arsenaled and then put in storage ready for reissue. But that is what we had. And then in 2012, a couple years before the decommissioning, when I was on the ship visiting, the whole system changed with the war on terror and that. The way the ships were parked, there were 2 30 caliber machine guns, which the M60s were gone. It was the FNs. There were 2 of them up on the top 03 level, pointing out into the harbor, and they're just covered with canvas. They were there, up and ready. You just run up with ammo and load them. So the ship, even at that time, in San Diego Harbor on 32nd Street, was more or less like in a combat state. And there's some kind of a Belgian gate in the harbor up in front of the pier and all kinds of other weird stuff. But the sailors were carrying M16A2s, I believe, at the time. And the guy on watch had your roving patrol. He had to walk around the ship with this rifle hanging across his chest, holding it as he went and did his roving patrol on the deck of the ship. So the M14 was retired, but it still stays there. The guys told me there's 2 of them, and what they use them for is a line throwing gun. They put this apparatus up here on the front, which is like a giant stainless steel tube, and there's this aluminum thing embedded with bright orange plastic. I'd say, I don't know, about 2 inches in diameter. It's a weight, and then there's a spool with this fine nylon spring, and when we pull up underway to get fuel or resupplies, what we have to do is throw a line over to the supply ship, and then when you pull the string back, they give you a larger rope, and then you pull like the fuel line and all this other stuff over, connect it to the ship, or you set up something to where you got 2 points where you take pallets of whatever, and that's how you transfer. So the M14 is still on Navy ships as a line throwing gun. And one of the reasons for it is the gas cutoff. Okay, you turn that little thing for firing, for firing grenades. But it has a gas cutoff. You turn the gas cutoff on, and that's how we throw a line over. So it still sees naval service to this day. Alright. So what are we going to get? And all of you guys familiar with the M14 know this one still has a little notch. There's a ring on the receiver of a selective fire gun. If you machine that ring off, then all the little switches and devices and stuff that go in here to make it selective fire are gone. They can't attach. But what condition they're going to be in, I don't know. Because the 1911s, a lot of them have been reworked and put together from parts and that. And like I said, they refurbished the ones they issued to us to like new condition. And I believe some of them are still used as national match guns or target shooting guns. I know they're used for ceremonial purposes. And I don't know if they're going to take the ones. The M14 has a very strange story. At the end of the Cold War and that, we took a pile of them, gave them to Estonia. The Gulf Wars or wars over in Iraq and Afghanistan were going on. They realized they needed some kind of sniper rifle, and then we went back to Estonia, took all the M14s back from them, and then turned them into sniper rifles. So I don't know what they're going to be converting. They said 100,000 guns. I don't know if they were the nice ones that have been refurbished and, put in storage like I was issued. Out of all of them, some have been destroyed over the years. Some have been used. I don't know. But I believe condition would be a factor in deciding on a purchase, much like the 1911s. Okay, for what they were asking for the 1911s, really kind of wasn't worth it. Okay, at least to me. Now, a lot of people bought them, bought numerous runs, and are happy with them, and that's fine. Okay, the M1 Garands I know come in 3 different levels or 3 different rack grade or whatever. I don't know if they're going to do that with these guns or what you're going to be offered, but if the condition is kind of, ratty and not like refurbished to new, probably for what they're going to charge you, you're better off just buying a Springfield Armory M1A1 and have a nice brand new gun. Okay? So I don't know, but that's what I found out. I still think this is an outstanding rifle. Okay, I love shooting this thing. So, choice is yours. But, that's what it's going to be, about $2K. Alright, thank you, and stay tuned.